This week on Hermitcraft. How do you even know about this one?
Bumbo. Being a different time zone, you see a different side of Hermitcraft.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I like this side. I want my Englishman back. Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writers Loy XP. Captions on this video are provided by Liara. With a fresh week comes a fresh chance for you to contribute to the Hermitcraft server. You may recall us mentioning the fan art gallery last week when submissions were open for Tango Tech fan art. Well, this week it's Pearlescent Moon and Smallish Beans' turn, so make sure you read through the submission guidelines and send your Pearl and Joel fan art for a chance to leave your mark on this season.
But I will be picking my favourites and they will be added to Hermitcraft. So get submitting your fan art. I'm so excited to see what you can do.
Elsewhere on the server, TCG matches have begun, with many of them playing out on streams, so don't expect full coverage from us unless the players dedicate a full video to sending each other to the Shadow Realm.
I'm going to go ahead and concede, because there is no way for me to survive the next round.
So let's assemble this Millennium Puzzle into something resembling a script, as we take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with iJevin, who takes this opportunity where two of the Poe enforcers haven't uploaded in a while to double down on his permit resistance and installs a no-Poe headquarters within the shopping district. Don't worry though, this didn't cut into his castle building time thanks to him finding this weird abandoned rectangle in the woods that he just puts the new signage over. Yes, this is the Popo HQ, and that is a pretty hilarious diss in all fairness.
Yes, I am working hard today, guys. I gotta be honest with you. Converting this old decrepit building that hasn't been used in years, it's gonna be a lot of work, so that's where you guys come.
His castle building time is spent well, by the way. Jevin does a lot of creative planning for the storage hall in the structure, even breaking out the actual stone and brick for what until now has only been a wireframe sculpture.
Somebody has been over here mining the ores off of my mountain. I hand terraformed this whole thing, and there was some coal missing. I will find out who did it.
And the latter half of his video is sidelined by the appearance of Cubfam135 and Good Times with Scar, who dare him to chug an ominous potion, while forgetting entirely that the base they then lure him in has 0 villagers in it.
Oh, this
my
guy's
God,
part of the
it's
raid!
the
Let's
Ravager!
go!
You That's amazing!
You leave
Let's
my name
go.
is Joe Hills alone.
This brings the Scar collab footage counter to way above what we potentially need to make our own Scar episode, by the way. Doc M's clandestine activity is much more underground, and for the sake of security and keeping up appearances, he builds a retaining wall in front of the dirt shop / poker den. After getting his hands dirty, it's quite the contrast when he swings by Rendog's spaceport to find Ren has discovered faster-than-light item transportation.
You know how fiber optic cables transmit data with
absolutely.
light, right? So it discombobulates materials and matter into atoms. Do not touch the beam, dude. You will be discombobulated and potentially recombobulated as a slug, or
Lord of
even
mercy.
worse, a space rat.
At least they can bond over their shared appreciation for Hoffen's poker tournament trophy, and their temporary amnesia over how Endermen behave.
Ah!
I think.
He's mad! Dude!
Get out of here. Too much gambling.
Business at the poker den concluded, Doc continues gardening, satisfying his technical urges by setting up a grass shearing farm with an LA assistant. Also, he can place the short grass more deliberately around his builds. And finally, for something even more wholesome, he turns up to compliment Pearlescent Moon to her face on behalf of the comments section.
This week's comment, I wanted to get your live reaction to that, alright? I love Doc and Pearl team-ups. I hope we see more. Aww. The vibe is just bros being bros.
Imitation, however, is the highest form of flattery, and this week, Joel Smallish Beans flattens most of the purple skyscraper Pearl built on his property, only to build it back with more diverse materials.
You know what? The block is growing on me. After making this build and how it blends with the other blocks here, I like it. I kind of like it now.
He is still much more comfortable with his own architecture, if only because it generally has some interiors in it. Which holds true for the newest build limit tower, where the room for activities now welcomes the actual activities. Joel looks deep into the redstoner we knew he could be and finds it in him to put together a furnace array and a bamboo auto farm to provide it with fuel. Proving once again that no, not everything needs the autocrafters, it's fine, it's seriously fine. And credit where it's due, having just finished his biggest build on the server, he did go right back to cooking.
Why isn't it? Is it what? Oh, it's because it's on top of that bit of bamboo. Maybe I should just throw some in for like an example.
As per usual, false symmetry has a much different use for a stick, but we'll get more into that when we get to the finale of this video. For now, enjoy her shenanigans when she walks Zombie Cleo through the resin prank Rendog and her did on their base, then immediately sell him off to Zombie Cleo. Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
So we're both fine from
How long
Ren.
did this take? How long did this take?
Well, you'd have to ask Ren that because he couldn't stop. At least 30 minutes, probably maybe an hour.
They also build a pineapple. Just thought you would find it amusing. This week, Rendog answers the question on everyone's mind: what if a base tour was also an interplanetary IKEA commercial?
It's an educational episode for both you and me. I will admit that I've even lost track a little bit of where we're at.
Throughout exploring the many wonderful builds that can be found all over the Gigaverse, Ren gives some insight into how some Hermit's base building ventures aren't meticulously planned ahead of time. It's more of an exercise in improvisation. But you're watching a master of improv at work as he becomes the Lorax, not only speaking for the trees but explaining why they're trees in the first place. There's even some flavor text behind his sci-fi visor, applying different shader packs as he roams around the colony.
Guys, I've had a little bit too much coffee today, okay? I'm working really hard to get this Space Tour episode out for you guys. It's taken way too long to make, and
he steps outside the boundaries of his base, cataloguing his successful commercial ventures and also the granite shop, and even dips back into the nether to remind us he's had a gold farm since the early days of the server. And all this time we thought he just had the Midas touch.
Big shout out to Hypno. Our gold farm is awesome.
While Rendog's tour takes us through space, XP Crafted's base project takes us through time, although the first part of that is a time lapse, as he builds a miniature woodland mansion as a tribute to his Season 5 base, all inside the latest circle pit attached to this season's Ocean Temple. And as he moshes his way through the build, he's planned out pathways, even one which includes a natural geode, and basement floor access to mimic his home away from home.
It's fine. It's fine. What do you worry? I don't know what y'all's issue is.
Because with the competitive cardboard kicking off on the server again, his main home will probably be the TCG arena. Those of you who want your TCG fix can enjoy a full match XP played out on stream with Vintage Beef. And if you want more, look no further than Joe Hills, who provides coverage of back-to-back matches against Cubfan135 and Wells Knight. Play him out, Keyboard Cub.
Scar, why'd you make me play against the smart guy first?
Joe continues to innovate in his TCG videos by providing picture-in-picture footage of both sides of the board, so you can see what's going on even when the players are dancing around and diving into their shulker boxes to see what cards they have in hand. But Cub piles on the extra innovation of bringing goat horns to the match, so his cards have catchphrases when they attack, and frankly this feels as much like a game changer as any adjustment to the mechanics.
I'm going to counter with Boomer B-dubs.
Boomer B-dubs.
Looks like the hammer just found a nail.
Dude, there's sound effects?
Of course, with the tokens now circulating, we also get to indulge in our guilty pleasure of watching more pack openings.
They have the squares and the stars in them. I just decided to add them to the signage.
Cool. Yeah, actually, that's brilliant. I didn't know what that... I thought it was just like a fancy divider.
And finally, there's Mumbo, who needs more mushroom blocks to texture his factory. Ah, Minecraft, you truly surprise us with the sentences we have to write.
I know in theory Grian sells them, but... well, I'm not going to complain. You know what they say about people in glass houses and all that.
While his first attempt at a giant cooling fan looks like it's about 1:15, the second attempt goes much better. And also Scar is here.
Can you go kill the skeleton for me, please?
Okay. Is it this guy?
Mumbo's biggest fan looks even better once the extra background detail is filled out, and the detailing continues to the pipes flanking the sides of his factory. But perhaps our favourite detail is the ever-changing mood of Big Ron. Adopting an analog approach to switching poses instead of using the redstone functions of the armor stand book, Mumbo builds a slimeblock armor stand swapper to switch through 3 different Big Ron poses as the in-game days pass. Naturally, this also means acquiring more custom player heads, so we finally get the Ron versus Ren showdown to prove once and for all who's the big dog. And when you think about it, fighting with sticks is pretty macabre when they're basically the bones of armor stands. And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like on this video while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.